You've bought a present for me in this box.
I did.
What is in that box?
This is a very special brain with a spinal cord.
This is a real brain with
This is a real brain with a spinal cord.
a real spinal cord.
A
And do you own this brain?
I did this dissection, and yes, this brain was specifically donated to me for educational purposes.
How old was the person?
In their 40s.
Do you know how they passed away?
Brain cancer.
And can you see the brain cancer?
You cannot. Not until I cut this open, and I've had this brain for over a decade and I haven't cut it open. It is very rare to have a dissection, which is actually brain and spinal cord. Usually you dissect the brain and we learn about the brain, but I wanted to have the brain and spinal cord because that's the central nervous system, and it's a spectacular dissection.
I feel nervous and excited.
Excited's good.
I'm excited.
Because you're right here, right now going, oh my gosh, something new.
Yeah.
It's exciting. Right here, right now is an exciting time. Are you ready?
I am ready.
Okay.
Shall I put my gloves on?
I encourage you to do so. Okay. So, this is a real human brain. And right now it is hydrated in rubbing alcohol. So, that's what this is. So, you don't have to be afraid of that. So, this is a real human brain. And spinal cord. And I think what I'll do is I'll just move this over here out of the way. Okay, so this is a human brain.
What's that skin on the top of it?
With a spinal cord.
This thing here?
We'll get there.
Oh.
So, you've heard about meningitis.
Yeah.
It's layers that support between the bone and the brain tissue. And it protects it. So this is called, there are 3 layers called the meninges. So when you've heard of meningitis. So this is the dura mater. It's very tough, and you'll feel that. It's like a really tough lettuce. And this is essentially strapping the brain into the cranial vault and holding it into position. Because you don't want this thing flopping around and having wounding and injury.
So it straps it into here?
It straps it in certain spots, yes. And generally, often, when you do a dissection, you actually have to put a screwdriver in there to peel the dura off the bone. So it straps it into position. It's kind of like a bra for the brain. Okay, so this is the dura. And then what I'm touching now is called the arachnoid. And that's the second layer of the meninges. And what you're looking at in there is blood inside of the blood vessels. So one of the things about why the brain is so fragile is the blood vessels are transparently thin. So the pressurized system of what's going on inside of the cranial vault has to be highly regulated. And it's actually the pressure of the cranial vault versus the pressure in the thorax of the chest and the pressure of the abdomen. It's a system. And they all work together in order to keep everything well regulated, homeostasis, a state where the cells are happy. And so the third layer is like right here, and you can see this layer's peeled away, the arachnoid, and under here I'm now touching pia, and pia is the external layer of the brain cells themselves, the brain tissue. So this is a beautiful brain, and it would be positioned in my head like this. So front of the brain, back of the brain, coming down, hanging down as the spinal cord. And then as you look at the spinal cord, this is called the cauda equina or cauda equina. And these are the nerves that are actually going to go down into your lower extremity. So all the information that's going to go down into your lower extremity to control your body is controlled, and the sensory information is coming in through those nerve fibers.
It looks like a bunch of wires.
It does. Well, we are quite a well-designed machine in its own way. The difference is we are organic, we are biological. And I think one of the biggest mistakes that we make as a society is we think ourselves as a machine, push it. Well, you can do that with a computer. You plug it in and it stays on until you turn it off or it blows up. We have to go to sleep. Yeah, have a good time with that. Yes. It's okay. You won't hurt it.
Wow.
We hope.
Gosh.
Uh-huh. Beautiful. Our design, such a masterpiece. We are this massive conglomeration of 50 trillion molecular geniuses making up our form. Beautiful.
It's so crazy that every single person listening right now has one of these. And
Yes.
it's processing my voice as you're hearing my voice.
That's right.
And it is this, for anyone that has never felt a brain before, which I imagine is most of you, it is like this very, very soft but dense, sort of tofu-y. How would you describe the feeling?
Pork roast.
Pork roast. It's very soft though. Do you know
It
what?
is.
It makes me realize
Yes.
how easy this would be to damage.
Now, this has been in alcohol or formaldehyde since at least 2008, probably earlier. And when you first pull a brain out, it's even softer. It's like a tough jelly. So that when you first bring out a fresh brain, if you take your finger and you just poke it into the tissue, it'll squeeze right in, and then you pull your finger out, and then it'll scrunch right back together again.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So this is a prepared specimen, and we have to do that and lock together the proteins or the lipids in order for us to be able to handle it for educational purposes.
So this is the computer, and then this is the wires that control the rest of the body.
Well, it's part of the system because this what you're holding is the central nervous system, and then all of it, and then the central nervous system sends between each of the vertebra. Here you have different vertebra. Between different vertebra, you will have different nerves coming out and then going around the body. And then you're also going to have vagus nerves coming off of the brainstem area and going down into the abdomen, taking care of the viscera.
The first time you saw a brain like this, how did it change your perspective of life?
I love it. I love it. I was very blessed to have an aunt who was a debutante back in the years where debutantes did not get jobs. And she wanted to be an emergency room doctor, but there was no way that she was going to do that. So she would actually encourage me to pick up roadkill, and we would take it home and dissect it. It's beautiful. See, that look, we have two responses. The left brain says, oh my gosh, this is disgusting. This is the worst thing I ever had. And that's a part of your brain that's designed to kind of critically judge and say, no, it's not safe. It's not cool. Push it away. But the right hemisphere comes online with curiosity. So people see these things and they go, oh, no, not my thing. Or they go, oh my gosh, that is like so cool.
I feel both at the same time.
Yeah.
I feel I have like almost a respect for the person
Yes.
who grew the brain, whose brain that belongs to.
Yes.
And then the other part of me is just like totally fascinated. And it almost, when you look at it, you still don't realize that you have one of those in your head.
Yes.
Like, I still don't.
Now, so you're still looking at that as that's one thing. I don't look at it like that at all. This is a brain, but what's important about this brain is our brain health, our brain abilities is 100 dependent on the cells that make up that brain. So most people, many neuroscientists talk about the brain and how the brain does in the external world and the behavior and the neurotransmitter systems and all of that. I go down to the raw data of the cells. So I am a cellular neuroanatomist, and so I care about the cells making up the nervous system and how do we interact with them? How do we relate to them? How do we care for them? How do we feed them? How do we provide for them so that they can be healthy, so that I can live a whole brain life in a healthy way?
For context, where did you do your PhD? You did your PhD in neuroanatomy at Indiana State University?
Indiana State, and my research was at the IU School of Medicine, Indiana University School of Medicine. So that's where I focused on neuro.
Yeah.
And then from there, I went to Harvard Medical School.
Yeah.
And did 2 postdocs, one in neurobiology and then one in psychiatry.
And when I say the 10th of December,
Yes.
1996,
Yes.
which was 4 years after I was born, roughly.
Mm-hmm.
You were 37 years old.
Yes.
What happened on that day? Can you give me a play-by-play?
Yes. Well, the day before that, I was teaching and performing research at Harvard Medical School. And I'm a gross anatomist, which means cadaver, entire body, as well as histology, which is tissue, as well as neuro. So I'm all about anatomy. So I'm teaching and performing research at Harvard Medical School. And I woke up the next day and I was experiencing a major hemorrhage in the left half of my brain. So I woke up, I sat up, and I immediately had a pulsing pound behind my left eye. And generally, I didn't have that, and it was pretty severe, and it got all of my attention. And I have my before and after is before and after that morning.
What happens next? So you've got a pulsing pain behind your left
Yes.
eye. What do you do then?
Well, I thought, wow, that's weird. And it's the caustic pain that you get when you bite into ice cream. It's like that freeze brain. And I thought, okay. And I felt suddenly weak. And I thought, okay, so I got up and light was kind of burning on my eyes. I didn't want light in the morning that day. So I closed the curtains and I thought, well, let's get my blood flowing. Maybe I'll feel a little better. So I jumped onto my cardio glider, which was a whole body full exercise machine. But I'm looking at my hands, realizing that my hands look like primitive claws grasping onto the bar. And I look at my body and I'm thinking, whoa, I'm a weird looking thing. And my perception of reality shifted away from my perception of being the one on the machine, having my normal morning experience, to, wow, I was witnessing myself having this experience. And I'd never had that happen before. And I thought, okay, so this isn't helping. So I get off the machine and I head across my living room table. And I'm realizing every movement is very rigid and very precise. And I'm actually kind of directing. I felt very robotic getting into the bathroom. So I remember pulling on the water, and when the water came out, it smashed into the tub, and the volume just reverberated in my brain. It was so loud, the sound was amplified, and it pushed me against the wall. But when the volume hit, I'm a neuroanatomist. So what that means is that I'm teaching students about all of the anatomy here and which fibers are coming in and going where and what is the tracks of everything. And so sound comes into the ears and it goes right down to the pons region of our brain down here. And this is where life and death is. This is where those cells, if you're going to inspire, you need your pons and your medulla in order to have those cells functioning. So when mine were being disturbed, that was the moment I realized I've got a problem. This is a grave problem. This could kill me. So I got out of the shower. I dressed mechanically, just dressed. I'm still going to work. And then my right arm went totally paralyzed by my side. And it's really strange when a limb goes paralyzed. It doesn't just like drop down. It goes boom. I mean, it's a heavy entity. And I thought, oh my gosh, paralysis. Oh my gosh, I'm having a stroke. And then I'm thinking, okay, oh my gosh, how many brain scientists have the opportunity to study their own brain from the inside out? And I literally thought, okay, I'll do this stroke thing for a week or two, and then I'll get back to my job, right? So then it was a matter of I have to get help. I have to communicate with the external world. And the problem was that the hemorrhage was happening inside of the left thinking portion of my brain, which is where language is. So I was drifting for 4 hours. I was drifting in and out of the consciousness of the present moment. And in the present moment, I don't know who I am. I don't know what I am. All I know is what's in the present moment.
So explain that for me. So
yeah.
The left side of your brain was where the stroke was happening.
Yes, it was.
So you were in the right side of your brain.
I was waffling back and forth because it was growing. It started small. So I had what we call an arteriovenous malformation, where an artery, which is a high-pressure system, it's bringing blood into the system. And then I have a vein, and the vein is a no-pressure, low-pressure system. And then we have these little capillary networks in between. Yeah. This is an ischemic stroke. I had the hemorrhagic stroke. So when you think about stroke, most people think, oh, blood clot. And the blood clot blocks so the thing about arteries is they taper until they get down to the capillary level, which is where the red blood cells kind of line up in single file and pass through that. And it's a very low pressure system. And then it absorbs back up into the vein. Well, what I had was the hemorrhagic stroke, and a blood vessel exploded. And when it exploded, then the blood goes out into the extracellular matrix, which is extracellular between the cells, and the cells cannot function. Blood is essentially poison to cellular communication. So it's no good. And whatever blood, wherever it goes, those cells start going offline. And then as that hemorrhage grows inside of the brain across time, more and more cells are becoming incapacitated.
So you were, in that moment, unable to remember how to speak properly, unable to
Nothing. I had nothing. I didn't even have me. I had no Jill Bolte Taylor because she was over in the left hemisphere. And eventually that whole hemisphere ended up swimming in a pool of blood and was non-functional. But it took 4 hours to get there. So I was waffling into the present moment, blissful euphoria. I didn't exist. I know who I am and that I exist at all because I have a tiny little group of cells inside of my left hemisphere that tells me who I am. Have you ever awakened in a hotel somewhere because you've traveled so much and you're going, where am I?
Yeah.
There's this blank, right? And it's like, I don't know, but the bed's comfy, what a nice room, and all of a sudden you're just right here, right now, and you're not about the past and you're not about the future and you're just in the present moment. And joy lives in the present moment. Love lives in the present moment. Laughter lives in the present moment. The present moment is a fantastic place, and we are wired to that by literally half our brain. So why wouldn't we spend more time over here? Or at least balance it out. That's all I ever ask for. I am not here to, as a waving the flag of the right hemisphere. I want whole brain living. I want people to understand the different parts of their brain, what they do, so that it says, okay, so let's say, do you meditate?
Sometimes.
Okay, sometimes. What's it like for you?
Difficult.
Okay, why?
Because you start thinking about stuff.
Okay, because this part of your brain won't be quiet.
That's the
Left thinking brain.
Yeah.
We're languages. It won't be quiet. Or you just had a little argument with your sweetheart, and so down here now you're in your emotional system, and you're not really feeling peaceful. And you got on that airplane, and things weren't like perfectly smooth. So now you're kind of ruminating about oh my gosh, and whatever. And that takes you away from the present moment. But the present moment it's not about me, the individual. I think about this, so I look at the brain, it's divided into 4 categories, very specific anatomically. Each one of those result in a constellation of skill sets. And then that constellation of skill sets actually manifests in our lives as personalities. And we all have all 4. Now, do we all practice all 4? No. Some of us do. We usually have a dominant. You seem to like your left thinking brain a lot. When do you have fun? What does Steve do for fun?
This?
No,
also I watch Manchester United play, and
you lift weights.
Yeah.
What's that like for you? Is it work or is it refreshing?
Both.
To be in your body?
Oh, when I'm at the gym, I'm just in my body, which is, yeah.
Okay, but no, not just but. When you're at the gym, you're in your body. Now, can you go back in your own mind and have that feeling?
Can I?
Yes.
How?
Well, go there in your mind.
I actually imagined myself on the treadmill at my favorite gym and how that felt. And I had a brief moment of that feeling emerge in my mind.
And what did it feel like?
Present. Yes.
Okay. And any other emotions that you can attach to
Just
that?
like calm, peaceful, without concern, very present.
Yeah.
Very present.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the present is a nice place for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. What else do you do to get there?
Massages.
Massages. You receive massages.
Yeah.
Okay. And what happens to your brain? Do you analyze what's coming and just work your butt off? Or do you allow yourself to actually drift and shift into the present moment of, oh my gosh, I'm so glad I'm here?
I allow myself to drift.
Good. Where do you go?
I don't know. It's like a fuzzy
Yes.
middle ground place.
Yes. No boundaries.
Some kind of limbo.
This portion of the brain up here is going to be the part that says who you are as an individual. It's your ego center. This hemisphere, the left hemisphere, has the picture of nature with you in the middle because you exist in your left hemisphere.
That's where the world revolves around you.
The world revolves around you. In the right hemisphere, you don't even exist. You exist as a part of it all. So what you hear gets integrated with what you smell, with what you feel, gets integrated in the excitement of possibility. So I'm not working from a plan. I'm not in the past. I'm not in the future. I'm not all about me. I'm just here. So when you're on a table, massage table, and you're allowing yourself to go fuzzy, that's essentially the skill set of what's going on in the right hemisphere. When you dive into water, you swim?
Not well.
Okay, but do you dive into water?
I do, yeah.
Okay, or even just in the shower.
Yeah.
When you dive into water and you feel the water, the pressure against your body, the temperature of the water, you feel the phenomenon of wetness. This is a present moment experiential opportunity. Diving into the water. Now, a lot of people might dive in the water because I'm racing and the whole goal is to get to the end because I got that left brain thing going on and that's the goal. But if I'm just being, this is, are you being or are you doing, right? When we're being, we're simply being here. We're being alive. We're being aware. We're being in experience. So as I take in this room, I take in this whole room. My left brain says, I'm going to focus on you, and I got these books, and I've got these things, and I got the brains, and everything's a thing. But to the right brain, everything is one thing. And when I live my life knowing that I can shift out of the stress circuitry of that left brain that says more cortisol, do, then when that's the push, the right brain is the pause. And that's why I was saying before, we're not a robot. We're not a computer. We are a biological organism. And so we don't plug ourselves in and turn it on and it stays on and forever until it dies and then we buy a new one. We have rhythms. We have natural patterns and we have to push and we have to pause, and we have to pause because we are 50 trillion molecular geniuses that are eating and creating waste, and we need to clean up the mess. And that's what happens during sleep.
If you love the Diary of a CEO brand and you watch this channel, please do me a huge favor. Become part of the 15% of the viewers on this channel that have hit the subscribe button. It helps us tremendously, and the bigger the channel gets, the bigger the guests.